So, our mission statement, LAM Live, started in 2020 as a series of live streams for kink-positive consenting adults during the UK lockdown, providing a space for those that couldn't connect with our community to share in whatever way we could. In addition to the content created at our in-person events and accessible online, we occasionally hold specials, just like this, the Christmas message. We hope you enjoy. But most importantly, we hope that you are kink positive. Now, what does that mean? That means that we hope that you accept kink as a positive influence in our lives. To put it bluntly, we really don't care what's between your legs, who you want between your legs, how many people you want between your legs, or even if you don't want anything between your legs. Our aim is to provide an open and accepting environment for all kinksters and individuals. There is no dress code. Street clothes are entirely acceptable for LAM Live events, just as they are the in-person, although fetish and kink is always encouraged. And you know what? If you take a picture of you watching this in your finest kink attire, send it through to us on social media. You never know, you might be the lucky recipient of a LAM mug. They're limited edition, don't you know? The stories behind how we've had to create these over the years, real pain in the arse, which is why there are never many of them. One quick request as well. Please subscribe if you're not already, like, share the content, or alternatively get involved. We're always interested in talking to people about providing content. We're happy to teach you the technical side of live streaming and video presentation, putting stuff together. We tend to do it on something of a shoestring budget, so you know what, if you're looking at turbocharging your business or make yourself more employable, give us a shout. We're always prepared to help. You know what, we're also looking for people who can help and support the presenters. We're also looking for people who can help curate the archive, do a little bit of editing, make sure that things are easy to find, etc. All you need to do is just reach out to us on social media and let us know that you want to get involved. So, what's the schedule for today? It's about 2 o'clock. Well, it should be, because this is an automatic broadcast. And this is the welcome message. After this, I'm going to go on and give you something of a 2020 Christmas message. Then there'll be some messages from stalls, a book reading from Zach of Dirty Sexy Words, and finally I'll be back to give you some updates about what's going on with next year and LAM. So, before I get too far into this, I just wanted to extend and repeat a huge thank you on behalf of the LAM crew and Crisis for the support this year. They were especially touched when we delivered the donations the day after LAM, and were shocked to hear the story and some of the information behind it. So, big pat on the backs for that. Thank you very much indeed. Oh, hang on a second. We seem to be getting a disruption in the studio. I think we're about to get taken over by those naughty elves again. Nah, sorry about that, everyone. Those elves, they do like to get everywhere when it comes to our Christmas events. So let's correct some of that bad behaviour and just remind everyone out there that we are a consent positive event, and a quick reminder of that infamous consent is like a cup of tea.
If you're still struggling with consent, just imagine instead of initiating sex, you're making them a cup of tea. You say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they go, "Oh my God, fuck yes, I would fucking love a cup of tea. Thank you." Then you know they want a cup of tea. If you say, "Hey, would you like a cup of tea?" And they're like, I'm not really sure. Then you could make them a cup of tea or not, but be aware they might not drink it. And if they don't drink it, then, and this is the important part, don't make them drink it. Just because you made it doesn't mean you are entitled to watch them drink it. And if they say no thank you, then don't make them tea. At all. Just don't make them tea. Don't make them drink tea. Don't get annoyed at them for not wanting tea. They just don't want tea, okay? They might say, "Yes, please. That's kind of you." And then when the tea arrives, they actually don't want the tea at all. Sure, that's kind of annoying as you've gone to all the effort of making the tea, but they remain under no obligation to drink the tea. They did want tea, now they don't. Some people change their mind in the time that it takes to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk. And it's okay for people to change their mind. And you are still not entitled to watch them drink it. And if they're unconscious, don't make them tea. Unconscious people don't want tea. And they can't answer the question, "Do you want tea?" Because they're unconscious. Okay, maybe they were conscious when you asked them if they wanted tea. And they said yes. But in the time it took you to boil the kettle, brew the tea, and add the milk, they are now unconscious. You should just put the tea down. Make sure the unconscious person is safe. And this is the important part again. Don't make them drink the tea. They said yes then, sure, but unconscious people don't want tea. If someone said yes to tea, started drinking it, and then passed out before they'd finished it, don't keep on pouring it down their throat. Take the tea away. Make sure they're safe, because unconscious people don't want tea. Trust me on this. If someone said yes to tea around your house last Saturday, that doesn't mean they want you to make them tea all the time. They don't want you to come around to their place unexpectedly and make them tea and force them to drink it going, "But you wanted tea last week." Or to wake up to find you pouring tea down their throat going, "But you wanted tea last night." But if you can understand how completely ludicrous it is to force people to have tea when they don't want tea, and you're able to understand when people don't want tea, then how hard is it to understand it when it comes to sex? Whether it's tea or sex, consent is everything. And on that note, I'm going to go make myself a cup of tea.
And now a few messages from some of the stalls and crew before the book reading with Zach of Dirty Sexy Words.
everyone, it's me, Zach, from Dirty Sexy Words, your kinky bookseller and occasional writer of naughty stories. And if there's a bit of glare coming off my reading glasses, sorry. Hope you're having a nice day, as nice a day as possible. And if you've not stuffed your turkey and pulled your crackers and done all the traditional stuff, I hope whatever you're doing, you're enjoying it. Anyway, it is Christmas, and this is the Christmas LAM live stream. And I am here to enliven it, hopefully, or give you something to go make a cup of tea while it's going on, or whatever floats your boat. I've written a special Christmas story, which I'm now going to read to you off my phone, which may involve a certain amount of pausing, spluttering and pushing buttons. Anyway, Christmas story, Christmas 2022, is called When Father Christmas Met Dessard. The old man was finding the job lay heavy on his shoulders. Year after year, no end in sight, and the cold crept into his bones, and the world changed and changed again. Sometimes it seemed as though cruelty was increasing at a faster rate than ever before, as his power to bring good cheer diminished. So he did what a lot of us do when it all gets a bit much, and went to the pub. Now, there are all kinds of pubs, and some are more special than others. Being special himself, he went to one of the special ones, a pub he'd heard of, but never actually visited, at least not that he could remember. It was on the borders, you see. Curious things happen in the borderlands. He went by himself, and he sat by himself, and after a while, when he'd had a few drinks, someone came and sat beside him. The old man blinked a couple of times at this new arrival, a man who was also relatively old, dressed in very old-fashioned clothes, 18th, 19th century, and wearing a white wig. "You are the English Father Christmas, no?" the newcomer inquired. Father Christmas, for that was indeed who the old man was, blinked again. Normally, even old and tired as he was, he would greet anyone who approached him with a righteous "ho, ho, ho," but on this occasion it didn't seem appropriate. This was not the kind of person who usually approached him, no matter where he was. "But you are the Marquis de Sade," he said, and received an affirmative nod in response. Father Christmas was not, after all, ignorant of the world and its history. Father Christmas knows an awful lot about everyone and everything, so they say. "But you're a real person. I am a mythical figure," said Father Christmas. "I have been dead for over 200 years, said de Sade. "You, mon ami, for somewhat longer. Both of us live on as myths, removed from what we once were. We are people whose stories are interpreted and reinterpreted in multiple ways. However, that is not important now. Tell me your troubles." So Father Christmas did. Part of it involved his concerns about Krampus and how that old monster was going about his duties these days. Father Christmas was worried about outsourcing, forgetting that he was only in selected myth systems, that he was the one who decided who had been naughty and who had been nice. He also told de Sade that Krampus was reinterpreting his own importance. Given that so many people considered a good beating to be more of a reward than a punishment, de Sade explained that there were many variations in the types of beating, the implements that might be used, and how it was possible to vary the scope of one's cruelties, and indeed the scope of the pleasures one could inflict. So Father Christmas asked de Sade for a few suggestions, and de Sade was happy to oblige. He proposed a spiked cock cage for Jacob Rees-Mogg, with, of course, the spikes on the inside, and dipped in Tabasco sauce before the gift was given. He thought it might be appropriate to send Putin a voucher for a portrait sitting by Tom of Finland. But even Dessard confessed himself bemused by what to put in Liz Truss's stocking. How does one punish a power bottom with a humiliation kink, however dreadful they may be? Group therapy? Sharing of feelings? If it had not been for the fact that this conversation was taking place in a pub on the borders, where time may cease to have meaning, Father Christmas might have said that they talked all night, and the lists got longer and longer. But after so much Babycham and brandy, after a while he stopped writing things down. In the end, though, Dessard took his leave, and Father Christmas fell asleep with his beard in a puddle of spilt Babycham. He woke up in his cosy little home at the North Pole. Had it all been a dream? He might never know. However, he felt somehow inspired by one suggestion that stayed with him. All those whose behaviour merited it should receive a remote-controlled vibrating butt plug, and those who deserved the opposite should receive the remote controls. It is to be hoped that we all get what we want and what we need at Christmas time. And if not, you can always come to LAM and buy it for yourself next year. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, see you soon.
Hi everyone, it's Mistress Glambitch here, or MGB Photography, depends on how you know me, your friendly LAM crew photographer. Thank you for tuning in to our LAM Christmas Day special here on YouTube. Please excuse my voice, I've got a rotten cold. Just to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I hope everyone's having a lovely day, sending virtual hugs to anyone who isn't or who may be struggling. Just a thought to check in on anyone elderly or in need who is local to you to see if they are doing okay during this festive season. I hope to see you all on the 8th of January in the new year. Don't forget, we are a week later than usual in January. I'm hoping I'll be able to take your photos on my new camera, which is my Christmas present. I would also like to thank Cosmic and all of my LAM crew friends who have been there for me and supported me through what has been quite a tough year for me. Anyway, again, Merry Christmas everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care, stay safe, stay kinky. See you soon. Bye.
2022 has turned out to be another somewhat challenging year, as the previous ones have been. Whether it's the political turmoil, the war in Ukraine, or just the general quite dire economic conditions. But that's actually why it's massively important to maintain space with events like LAM, to give people the opportunity to really come out and express themselves, to be who they want to be, at least that once a month. To provide a structured space where people can actually explore their sexuality, their identities, and develop as human beings, because that's what it is all about at the end of the day. The development of us as individuals, the development of our wider community, and hopefully moving forward, enjoyment for more and more people. We're certainly not in the business of trying to corrupt the vanillas. That's why our message has always been focused on kink positive. It's about what we want to do. We want acceptance of the wider world, but we certainly don't want to be corrupting everyone and dragging them into the dungeons unwanted. The events themselves this year, we've started to see something of a return to the pre-pandemic levels. But at the same time, there are still members of our community who, for various reasons, can't join us at in-person events. And that's again why it's been so critically important to continue the development of the online stuff. I'm particularly proud of the work that we've done this year with the Kink Shrink in making sure that as many of her bi-weekly Thursday night sessions are covered as possible. And I really do appreciate the work that you put into the community in supporting people through a variety of problems, issues, and again, helping everyone to develop along the way. Because at the end of the day, having done LAM for so long, that's one of the things that I always look back and reflect upon. It's not an easy path that we choose, and certainly the people that choose to live a lifestyle tend to some extent isolate themselves from their normal support networks of family and vanilla colleagues and friends, etc. And that's why an important part of today is getting that message out to say, you know what, we're here, we're available. If there is anything we can do to help, you know you're not alone. And to that end, please reach out. Have a look at our Telegram chat group. We will be monitoring it even over the festive season. So if you're feeling that you want to chat to people, come on in and introduce yourself. Just please remember, don't go pestering people with private messages. It's an open chatting group and it's meant to be that way. And that's very much the ethos of LAM and our events, to make sure that they are as open and as accepting of individuals as possible. Because at the end of the day, the last thing you want to do is come out and find that your particular kink is excluded just because, you know, it's not necessarily someone's cup of tea. But unfortunately, we also have the reality that we do operate within a structure and the rules that are in place. And that's why we have rules that a lot of people may feel are a little bit tight in terms of no sexual activity, but we like to think we provide that space for people to explore without the worry that things will go into a deep sexual area. And that's really the space that LAM occupies. So, to give you some updates on what's going on across the next year, obviously we're continuing the London events on the first Sunday of the month wherever possible. Obviously New Year's Day is a little bit of a clash. We know people will be out and celebrating, saying goodbye to 2022, and therefore we've moved back a week. So the first event is actually going to be on Sunday the 8th of January. Details up on the screen there. And then after that, the 5th of February, followed by the birthday special in March and 2nd of April. I think there may be a couple of surprises on both of those last two events. And a couple of things to watch out for later in this year. Well, more of those wonderful outdoor markets, barbecues. Get out and enjoy kink in the outdoor, and later in the year look out for a weekend mini festival. It just leaves me to wrap up here and to say thank you for watching. Please stay safe. We'll see you as soon as we can, but until then, don't be a cockwomble. There are plenty of them out there, and absolutely no dogging on the way home, unless you've got the prior consent of those involved. Special thanks go to the Lamb and Lambchester guests and crew for your support, and also the stalls for your messages and ongoing support. A couple of quick credits. Just like to personally thank MGB Photography and Jesus from the Lamb crew for the images, and to credit Ben Sound for the additional music used today. I hope you all have a fantastic time, that it's relaxing and peaceful, and that you can join us as soon as possible.